expert within cybersecurity, information security, and someone who has got a consultancy of his own, helping businesses to keep secure. Now, I'm going to get straight into this. Jonathan, tell me, how did you get into cybersecurity?
Well, it's quite a long time ago. I was in the Navy as a weapons engineer, and a weapons engineer in the Navy. It's not just about bombs and bullets. It's about everything that makes ships warships. So all the communications and intelligence system, compute, and so on. And that was quite a long time ago, Misa. Before it was called Cybersecurity Adventure. And so I was working on a lot of stuff there. In the civilian world, it was slowly becoming more apparent, particularly with e-commerce, and then the 2000s came along, and we had a bubble burst, and then we went into 2008 recession. That cybersecurity was A, very important, but B, that you needed to validate its business principles as well. So nobody's going to give you masses of cash to spend on cybersecurity tooling with no visible outcome. So you've got to be able to demonstrate as a cybersecurity professional that what you're doing adds value to the business that you're working for, in, or advising from the outside. They're the key things from my side.
Perfect. That's a nice introduction into how you broke in, and I like the fact that you like to play with things, definitely, and you got an interest right from the early days of when it wasn't called cybersecurity. So did you do any certifications at the early stage, or is it something that came in later on?
So initial qualifications were more focused around my day job. In terms of the engineering side, my first degree was in electronic engineering, which included some compute and some software, but a limited extent. When I formed C2 and we went into the market, I did my CISP course to validate that I knew what I was talking about vaguely. Knew a lot about crypto, less about some of the AD and Active Directory stuff that we all need to know about now. And then I did some courses on sort of ethical hacking, just really for awareness. I've also done a bunch of privacy courses. So one of the key things for me, if you're moving into cybersecurity, is to mitigate, control, manage risks to the business, whether it's an online retailer or a builder or a multiple landlord. They're all managing risk to the information that they hold, and the risk can present in different ways depending on the business. And so I did a bunch of the privacy training courses, so the CIPP privacy courses, CISM, some of the data protection officer courses, before there were more robust ones now. And the reason I did those is because often it's the chief risk officer, chief financial officer, data protection officer that owns the risk that the information security team, CISO and below, are seeking to address. So it's important to make sure that you're speaking the language of the person paying the bills. Yeah. And then the business plans that you put in front of them they contain returns on investment that are in the language that they are worried about. And that's paid dividends in the time I've been doing this.
Perfect. So what were your three top takeaways for anyone trying to break into the industry? How would you suggest they go about it?
Well, table stakes is that you can demonstrate some understanding of the taxonomy of cyber. And I venture something like CISP is quite a good way to do that. None of these courses are perfect, but and I don't think the people purveying the courses suggest that they're perfect either, but they are quite a good benchmark to say, right, I've got that. You don't necessarily have to take it every year, but you've done it and you've passed that. Then I think you need to get involved in the industry. So it'll come as no surprise to anyone listening to this that we're moving quite quickly in cyber. So currently it's about things like how to deploy AI safely in your business, whether it's an enterprise or a small business, and lots of questions in there. And then a steamroller coming along behind all the frothy AI PR is quantum compute, and people collecting our data even though they can't read it, and when they can, they'll decrypt it at leisure. And then we've got a bit of a challenge in financial services and anywhere where B2C consumer data is stored. Buying habits, private messages on platforms, all of that stuff will be readable by somebody that builds a quantum computer to the right scale. We're not talking about that one at the moment, but I think awareness of what's coming and reading enough, which is always a challenge, right? If you're not commuting and you haven't got that time on a train where you can't really do any work, you need to forge a piece of your day for staying up with the market. I think that's quite important.
I think that's absolutely really, really vital advice. I think that staying ahead of the curve, learning what's going to come down the line in the future is so vital. And I think that should be at the forefront of anyone's mind when they're looking to make a transition into any industry, particularly cybersecurity, information security. I think it's vital. So I really appreciate your insight into this, Jonathan. Thank you for that. That's perfect. Let me stop recording that. Yeah, perfect.